I never thought I'd be writing this, but I need to get it off my chest. I was in a 4-year relationship with a woman I once admired. Not for her looks, which, to be honest, never immediately attracted me, but for the connection I thought we had, for the promises she made, and for the future we had envisioned together. I fell for her gradually, believing that what we were building was real. And when I gave her my heart, I never expected that she would crush it so brutally. We met, fell for each other, and in the first year of our relationship, we lived together. I was preparing to leave for my master's abroad, but I made it clear from day one, I wasn't looking for something casual. I was in it for the long term, and I was willing to make the effort in a long-distance relationship. She agreed. The only thing she ever asked of me was to visit her often. I understood that it was a reasonable ask coming out of a live-in relationship, but my reality was harsh. I was pursuing a highly intense degree abroad, juggling a full-time student workload with a part-time research job, and managing the challenges of living as an expat. Despite all this, I did visit her, as often as I could, but it was never enough for her. She never acknowledged or appreciated the effort I put in. It was as if no matter how much I did, she had already made up her mind that it wasn't enough. But I had to make choices. I was building my future, not just for myself, but for us. I wanted to be independent, to be in a position where I could meet her parents respectfully, where we could have a good life together. And she should have understood this. She was a student too, a medical student. She knew the grind, the sacrifices that had to be made. But instead of seeing my efforts, instead of standing by me, she chose herself, and then chose someone else. And the timing of it all makes it even more painful. This cheating happened on New Year's Eve. I was alone in a foreign country, waiting for her to call me so we could celebrate in whatever way we could from a distance. I had chosen not to make plans with my friends here because I wanted to prioritize the relationship. I didn't want to do anything without her. And what did she do? She kissed another guy that night. That wasn't an accident. That wasn't a moment of weakness. That was a choice. And her first reaction to me calling it quits because of her disloyalty was to open up the relationship. The amount of shit this person could speak just to avoid any sort of accountability is just bizarre to me. And then, just a few days before my birthday, she slept with the same guy. That was my birthday gift from her, the news that she had given her body to someone else. The body that she once told me was only for me. The body that she had made sacred promises about. And she didn't just promise these things in words. She had taken me to our temples, places that our families deeply regard as sacred, and made promises about a future together. She involved both our families in our relationship. Her family approved of me. They knew about me. They expected to meet me as a potential future husband. And she made her commitment to me even more real by giving me her grandmother's ring, a family heirloom, as a promise ring. This wasn't just any piece of jewelry. This was a symbol of our future, a representation of trust and loyalty, something that carried the weight of generations in her family. And yet, despite all of that, she still chose to betray me in the most humiliating way possible. At first, she only admitted to kissing the guy. The next morning, she called me crying, acting confused, barely admitting what she had done. When I confronted her and told her I was done, she didn't try to fix things. Instead, she went ahead and slept with him. And here's the kicker. While she was in bed with him, she moaned my name, and she confessed this to me on my birthday. She was literally betraying me, but her mind was still on me. If that isn't proof of how lost, confused, and messed up she was, I don't know what is. And then, after all of that, after betraying me in the most humiliating way possible, she suddenly had a realization. Maybe I'm not over my ex-boyfriend yet. So she came crawling back, suggesting couples therapy. Not because she genuinely wanted to fix what was broken, but because she needed to lessen her guilt. She needed a way to make herself feel like she wasn't the villain in this story. And her friends? They blindly defended her. None of them told her she was wrong. None of them called her out. Instead, they focused on me, saying that calling her actions slutty was out of line, completely ignoring the actual betrayal she committed. Her own parents barely reacted. Her father just said, "Good guys are rare to come by." Her mother? No real reaction. She faced zero consequences from the people around her. Meanwhile, I was the one left shattered, humiliated, trying to make sense of how the person I love could do this to me. And then there's the ultimate irony. This is a woman who wept over a fictional dog dying in A Dog's Purpose years ago. But when my real-life dog, the one who had saved me, the one I loved more than anything, passed away, she had zero empathy. Her only response? I'm posted in a morgue. I see death every day. It doesn't affect me anymore. And then she went out partying almost every day throughout the week when my dog passed away. She never truly cared about my pain. She was never really there for me. The last 6 months of our relationship, I felt like I was stranded, alone, and emotionally neglected. And now, looking back, I realize that's because she had already checked out. But here's what makes all of this even worse. I was already struggling with severe depression when she did this to me. My mental health had taken a massive hit. I had told her this. I had been honest about my struggles, and she, as a doctor, should have had at least some basic human compassion. But she didn't. She was cold, distant, and unavailable. She chose to betray me instead of being there for me when I needed her most. And I had even given her an out. Long before my dog passed away, when my depression started getting worse, I told her that if she felt she couldn't handle being with someone going through this, I would understand. I wouldn't judge her if she walked away. I told her this multiple times. But she chose to stay, not necessarily be there for me, or even put in any effort at all to be there. But she just stayed until she found someone else to sleep with. I don't really understand why I even let this happen to me. I don't know if people like her ever find happiness. A part of me wants to wish for her healing and peace because I want to be a bigger person. But another part of me, the hurt, raw, betrayed part of me, wants her to suffer, to feel just an ounce of the pain she's put me through, to realize, too late, that she threw away something real. I'm writing this because I need to let it out. And if anyone has ever gone through something similar, I need to know, how do you move past a betrayal like this? How do you reclaim your self-worth when someone you trusted completely trampled all over it? Because right now, it feels like I'll never be able to think of love the same way again.